This is nuts. It's almost as if, like, because the Republicans couldn't find any woke stuff in the defense budget that they're going to increase in a record-breaking way. It's not to let Biden off the hook. He's going to sign off on it, without a doubt. But they're looking for wokeness wherever they can find it, and it's all just a lie. And part of this is, like, has to do with the fact that Pete Buttigieg is gay. That's basically it. Pete Buttigieg is gay. He also happens to be somewhat incompetent. And for them, it's a field day because they can combine those two things. Do we have that sound? Don't we have sound to that effect?
The Norfolk Southern?
Yeah. Which number?
Number 8.
Number 8. Okay. Yeah, here it is. Okay. This is Representative Mike Collins, Republican from Georgia, on the House floor, trying to make the argument that we're getting the train derailments because Norfolk Southern, remember, and all of these freight train companies are working on extremely thin margins of people who they're hire because it is a way for them to drive profits, have extremely low labor costs. That's why they won't even give them paid sick days. That's why you get punished if you have more than 4 or 5 sick days. But his argument is a novel one.
Consequences. After seeing another Norfolk Southern train derailed this weekend, I was reminded of the fact that the company wrote to shareholders stating that it is focused on DEI. This administration's focus on DEI is forcing private companies to rethink their goals, and one has to wonder, was Norfolk Southern's DEI policies are directing resources away from the important things like greasing wheel bearings?
Pause it for 1 second. Understand what he's saying here. He's the company has said, like, we are upholding standards of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is a way of saying, like, we're covering our asses so that we don't get sued. We're trying to be a little bit less racist and a little bit less misogynist. And one of the ways we're doing that is by cutting down the amount of people that we staff on these trains so much that there's absolutely no friction between people. We don't even see them. 2 people on a mile-long train. But Mike Collins wants to make it. Are they spending too much money on programs like this and paying for safety? Well, if he genuinely believes that's a problem, he should introduce a bill forcing them to do safety. Increasing regulations on them safety. Will you pull up the text of the bill that Mike Collins offered to Congress to increase regulations, to force these people to stop spending money on all these diversity parties that they're having, on wokeness and on safety regulations? Pull up that bill. Search around Google. There it is. All right, go back. Let's listen to his bullshit.
Consequences. After seeing another Norfolk Southern train derailed this weekend, I was reminded of the fact that the company wrote to shareholders stating that it is focused on DEI. This administration's focus on DEI is forcing private companies to rethink their goals.
No, it's not.
And one has to wonder, was Norfolk Southern's DEI policies are directing resources away from the important things like greasing wheel bearings? Y'all, this insanity must stop. Speaking of insanity, I'm completely out of my mind. Put the bill on the floor calling for increased regulation if you are so worried that these people are spending too much time with their wokeness. Do it. Well, that would be an infringement on free marketism. I don't want them to be woke, which is not infringement on free marketism, but I also would not require them to do safety things because that would be an infringement on free marketism.
Such garbage.
It's the dumbest sort of like they talk about like the socialism of fools, and like the idea that instead of like, I guess Jews now, it's like wokeness. Like these corporations, it's not to do anything with like the structure of capitalism and their incentives for like maintenance of things versus like, running these things as ragged as they can. It's because they're trying to be too anti-racist. It's just wild that we have so many people believing that.
Insane.